Fine. So we were discussing about this modules and packages, right? Do you guys have any doubts in the imports? How to import things? How to import classes, how to import functions, how to import everything like this, and how to make a sub package like this using init. Is everything clear on this, guys? Sandhya? Okay, cool. So today we'll be moving towards file handling. Okay, so you guys understood the concept of package, a module, and how to import things, right? So basically this is all about the basics of file handling, like how to import things so that you can use them again, right? So you are just importing from one package to another package, or one sub package to another package, or even from one module to another module, right? You can import anything like those things, right? But file handling is what exactly means whenever you have some files, right? Maybe it may be a Python file, it may be a text file, or even it may be some CSV or Excel files. You might have to do some operations on those things. You might have to like print some text, add some text, read some text, okay, read some values from CSVs, maybe write some values into some Excel files, all these things. Okay, this is basic file handling which we will be using in proper programming, right? People always use these kind of things. Okay, so this is very important concept while when it comes to data science. Okay, because in data science all you do is manipulate CSV or Excel files. Okay, if you don't understand the concept of how to handle those files, how to read them or how to write them, you can't work with the data, with basic Excels or CSVs. So please pay attention on these concepts. Okay, so file handling is always an important concept of web applications or even data science, right? Because not just with data, file handling also involves writing some random logs. Okay, so whenever you are writing a web application, whenever you are writing any application, you might have to store some things. Okay, it may be like update some things, right, in a file, so that you can go back to that file and always find where you are, where you got any issue in the programming, or is the flow of the program is happening properly or not, like that. Okay, so it is also very helpful in data science. As I told you, file handling actually works with CSV files and Excel files, which is very helpful in the data manipulation, right? So Python has several functions, okay, to create, read, update and delete the files. Okay, we'll be discussing all these things. Fine. So first thing, we'll be opening any file using open function. So I told you that we will be discussing this in the functions, right? So in the functions we have discussed about inbuilt functions. If you remember, we have discussed about the inbuilt functions. So we discussed this get attribute, set has and delete attributes in classes. We are left with open. This we will be discussing along with the file handling, right? So if you can see, open function is used to open any files in the Python. Okay, I'll tell you how to open those as well, right? Then we have a thing called mode. Okay, so this open function takes two parameters as in two arguments. Okay, one is file name, it might be a file path, and we have mode. Okay, what is mode? Mode is nothing but in which option that you are opening that file. Okay, so you cannot directly open a file in randomly, and you cannot write things. Okay, there are certain modes that you will have to open for certain purposes. Okay, R is for read. This is only be used to read the files. Okay, you cannot write when you open with read mode. Okay, So R is for read, A is for append, W is for write, X is to create. Okay, so R is by default value, so you don't have to mention R particularly. Even if you mention, it doesn't matter. Okay, so R is by default, it will take the R value. Then we have append. Append is used to open the file in append mode, and whenever you write something, it will just append the values. Okay, and it will also create the file if it does not exist. Okay, remember that point. Okay, if the file does not exist, it will create and then add the values. If the file exists, it will just add your content after the end of the file. Okay, and there is one more thing called write. Write will also create the file if it does not exist. Okay, and it will just write. Okay, it will not append. Okay, if the file is already having some context, when you use write mode and write something, it will just override the all context that is already existing in the file. Okay, it will not append anything. Okay, it will just override things, right? And then we have X. X is just to create a file, and it returns error if the file already exists. Okay, so obviously we don't use X most probably, but there might be some requirements where you will have to check if the file exists. In those cases, you will be using this X. Okay, so basically it returns if the file exists. So if we use X mode, if it is returning error, which means that the file is already existing, right? So this is how you need to open the file. Okay, and we have read line and all these things. Let's discuss that in the code. Okay, let me just comment out all these things. We don't need all these things. Okay, I'll show you how we can write different files and different packet paths and how to use them. Okay, so let's say I have a file in the same path. Okay, let's say sample.txt. okay, this sample.txt has nothing in that. Okay, so what you can do, let me just write something. Okay, this is sample. Fine, now you just have to give the file path first. Okay, since the path is in the same, okay, for both these files, modules, packages and sample text, both of them are in the same file path, right? So you can see this is directly in the sample git folder, and this is also is directly in the sample git folder. There is no extra path for these files, so you can directly mention the particular path. Okay, you can directly mention the file name. Okay, sample.txt. okay, now you can read that particular file. Sorry, you can just open that particular file. You will have to give the file path. Okay, I am saying file path even though it is a file name, because for other things, for other files which are not in the same path, we'll be using file path, not just file name. Okay, so that's why I'm using file path. Okay, so by default it is read mode. You don't have to mention this particularly. So by default it is a read mode. Okay, now we have opened the file. Okay, whenever you use .open function to open the file, you will always have to close the file as well. Okay, once you do all the operations. Okay, this is my closing the file. Okay, this is opening, this is closing. Okay, in between you can do all the operations like file is open now, right? Like this you can do whatever the operations that you want to do in between. You don't have to give indentation anyway. This is not any block code, right? So this is the simple file opening and closing. Okay, you can just wait, it has to be double quotes. You can just run the file and wait, if is not defined, sorry, this is f equal to open file path. Okay, because this is a function, right? This is not a method. You don't call it with dot operator. Okay, so this is a function. You will just call that with the file path, and you are storing that particular thing in the f. Okay, so whatever the file that you are opening, you are storing the whole file in any variable. Fine, so then you are closing that. Okay, so if you run that, so you can see that file is open now. we are printing that. Fine. So this is just opening the file, right? You are not reading or writing anything. Okay, let's say we want to read this particular text. This is sample. Okay, we don't want to print this random text. We will be printing whatever the context that we have inside this particular file, right? So we have two functions. One is read. Okay, sorry, these are methods, not functions. Okay, you will have to call them along with the file name. Okay, we have read, we have read line. Okay, so read is nothing but just reads everything, and read line reads till that particular. Okay, sorry, read line reads only one particular line. Okay, let me tell you how these things works. Okay, so first is f dot read, which reads everything. So you have to print something, right, to show up in the terminal. You can just print out that. Okay, so you are printing f dot read. You can just comment out this. So this particular thing will print everything. Okay, whatever there is in the file. Okay, whatever the text present in the file, you can see that is being printed. Okay, if it is having couple of lines, okay, this is second line. Okay, let's say we have 3 lines, and if I run this, you can see all those 3 lines are being printed, right? So no issues at all, right? A simple read, f dot read. Read is a method, so that's why we are calling along with the file. Okay, you can also see that type of this particular f. Okay, you can see it will be a file class io.text wrapper. Okay, so this is nothing but a file. Okay, io means input output. So basically this io.text io wrapper means everything is read in the text format, right? It will not be read as a integer or a boolean or anything. Okay, everything will be read as a simple text. Fine. So basically we are opening some files, right? That's why it is a text wrapper. Okay, so this is type of text, and you can simply use f dot read to read everything. Fine. But sometimes we don't want to read everything, right? We want to just read couple of things. Okay, you can just give any random number to read up to those words. Okay, you can just print that. So you can see we are only printing now 10 particular letters. Okay, if I am giving 10, I am only having 10 letters. Okay, if I am giving 20, you can see you will be reading 20 letters. Fine. So this is sample, and this like that. Are you guys able to get me? Is it understandable, or is it easy? Or guys, please be interactive. Yeah, cool. Sandhya. Okay, so if you are not using any number, it will just read everything. If you are giving any number, it will read up to that many characters. Okay, that many letters, you can see. Okay, this is all about read function. Okay, how to read all the things. Okay, then we have read lines. Okay, so if you can just print out this f dot read line. Okay, this is also a method. Okay, so that's why we are calling f dot. So if you run this, you can see it is only reading one particular line, right? And if you call the same method again, you can see it will call you second line as well. Okay, if you are calling the same again, it will call the third line. And if you are doing this, right, empty lines again and again, if you call that again empty lines will come, because there is no text at all. Okay, if you observe carefully, when I ran this particular read line in the first time, okay, in the first time I just got one simple line along with a empty line, right? So this particular empty line represents that there is another line which is present after this line, but it is not giving me the text. Okay, it will just give me empty which represents that there is an empty space. Okay, there is another line present in the file. Okay, so when I call the second one, you can see it is just printing my empty space, which denotes that there is a second line, and even second line is also giving me the empty space, which denotes that there is a third line as well. Okay, when I called it for the third time, you can see first line is giving me empty line, second line is also giving me empty line because there is also a third line, but third line is not giving me the empty line because after these three lines we don't have any empty lines, right? We don't have any lines, that's why it is just giving me the third line. Okay, it is not printing me any empty line. Okay, after that, how many times you call this read lines, you will just have empty lines. Okay, so you will have to be careful about using this empty lines. Okay, how to use read lines. Okay, which particular line that you are actually reading, right? So just remember, this particular read line will read only one line at a time. Okay, you cannot denote any number that to read this particular line like that. Okay, how many times you call this, that many times it will be printed. Okay, so it does not have that much of key role. Okay, let me try one thing. I think this should work. I think they have updated this. Okay, so if you are giving a number, it will just print you characters, it will not print me the second line. Okay, they still haven't updated that. Anyways, so how many times this is being getting called, that many times it will be printing the that number line, right? So this is all about read line, and we have read lines method. Okay, read line and read lines, you can see. So all the lines are being converted into a list. Fine. Are you guys able to see this? So if you are using f dot read line, okay, so basically read is to read everything, a read line is to read that particular line. Okay, how many times you are calling this, that particular line number will be printed. Fine. So this is second one, and we have read lines. So read lines is nothing but a method which converts all the lines into a simple list. Okay, so you can loop through this particular list and you can print whatever the line number that you want. Okay, so the disadvantages of read line, right, which is like you cannot print particular number of line, can be overcome with read lines. Okay, let's say I want to print only second line, you cannot print using read line, right? You will have to like print first line as well as second line, you cannot just print the second line. Okay, so that has been overcome with this particular read lines method. Okay, read lines method will just convert it into a list, so you can directly call it with the index. Okay, so one basically represents this particular second line, so when you call this, you can see that only this particular second line is being printed. Understood, guys? Okay, cool. Okay, fine. So always remember, whenever you are opening a file in any particular mode, you'll have to close that particular file as well. Okay, even if it is for reading or writing, for anything. Okay, so this is how you have to read the files, and you can just whatever the text you want, you can print using these three different methods. Fine. Now let me just comment all these things. We don't want these things, we'll be writing another thing. Okay, now I want to write things. Okay, let me show you first write, then append. Okay, first I'll tell you how to append, then I'll tell you how to write. Okay, we have done reading. Okay, so as I told you, this is either this or this, both are same. Okay, even if you are not giving R, it will by default be taking that R. Okay, so you don't have to particularly mention that R. Okay, but for other things you will have to mention those things. Okay, I am opening the file, the same file path. Okay, let me show you another way of giving the file path. Okay, this is sample text. Fine. but I am not using the simple file path. I'll be using the complete file path. Okay, complete file path of this particular sample text. Okay, if we can open this. Okay, that sample.txt is in samplegate project, this particular file. Okay, if I can copy this file path and I can just paste it here. Okay. It would be like this. Okay, so this is my whole path of the same file. Okay, so we are in samplegate folder. Inside that I have the sample.txt. Okay, so this particular thing and this particular thing is exactly same, but since it is in the same file, same folder, we are just using simply the same text, right? The same file name, we are just simply using the same file name. But if it is in different folders, then you will be using the file path like this. Okay, the complete path you will have to give. Okay, remember that as well. Now I am opening the file path with append mode. Okay, so append mode is A, and you will also have to close the file. Fine. Now in between that you can just write into the files. Okay, so we don't only have one method, you don't have dot append or dot write. Okay, so you can see we only have read. So these are all the things for reading. We have dot write function to write things. Okay, so it can be either for write mode or append mode. You will only be using write function. Okay, so if I do dot write, okay, so you can write any text. Okay, any context in this. Okay, be more attentive on this. So you can see this is my third line, it ends here. Okay, sample second line and third line. This is my fourth line. Okay, be very more attentive. Okay, I am just writing this is my fourth line, I am not giving anything here. Okay, if you just run this, okay, it will not give you any output because we are not printing anything. But if you can go to the file and see this is my fourth line context has been appended to the same cursor point. Okay, in the same line, because my end point was this. Okay, my end line was this. So from that particular point itself, whatever I am appending, it will get added, right? If you want to add it in the next line, what you will have to do, you will have to simply give /n before whatever the line that you are writing. Okay, so we have discussed all these things. These are escape sequences. Okay, we discussed it in the basic data types. So whenever you give this kind of thing, okay, this actually adds an extra line. Okay, this will make sure that it goes into the next line. Okay, so when I run this again, if you can go to this file, you can see this is my file line, fifth line, whatever it is going into the next line, right? So however you are, even though writing it, it is just getting appended to the end of the file, but wherever the cursor is present, from that particular point it will get, wherever the file is getting ended, from that particular point only it will append your new text, right? So since here we haven't given our /n, it was throwing me it was adding in the same line. Here we have given /n, it is giving me in the next line. Okay, so you can try that with the /t as well. Okay, this is still fifth line, right? So if I run this, you can see it is just added in a tab space, right? So it added one tab space and it is just adding the context. Okay, so this is simple append mode. Are you guys have any doubts in this append mode and read mode as well?
No, sir.
Okay, so
Mode is adding only
Aravind, can you repeat that?
Yeah, in append mode, it adding only end, right?
So /n and /t are basically /n gives you to the next line and /t gives you the tab space, and yeah, in the append mode it will only add in the end of the file. It will not add in any in between lines. Okay, so you cannot add in between lines. Okay, file handling does not allow that. You can either add at the end or you can just overwrite the whole text. Okay, so in append mode it will only add the text in the end of the file. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let me just tell you another thing. Okay, this is sixth line. Let's say we have one more function called write lines. Okay, so if you can run that, okay, you can see that is also being added in the same line. Okay, there is no actual difference between write and write lines. The basic difference is that whenever you are writing something, you without using this write lines method, whenever you are using simple write method, it takes everything as a single character. Okay, so let's say this is also a single character, this is also a single character, like that. Okay, but whenever you are using the write lines, the whatever you are giving inside the quotes, everything is considered as a single line. Okay, so it's basically, if you are having multiple characters, let's say 100 or 150 characters in a single line, usually text files will not wrap things. Okay, so it will just go on writing things until it hits the end of the file, then it wraps to the next line. Okay, let's say I have like these things. Usually some text editors will not wrap, but for some text editors it will just automatically goes to the next line. Okay, but whenever you are using this write lines, this wrapping will not happen. It will just go on prints at the how many characters you have, it will just go on add them in the single line itself. Okay, so that is the only difference we have in write and write lines. Okay, so you don't have to worry about write lines, you can just use write, because most of the text editors will not wrap itself. Okay, only few editors like Sublime Text and all these things will wrap, so it would be fine if you still use this dot write method, okay, to add anything. So this is all about the append method. Okay, let me just comment this out. Now we'll discuss about the write method. Okay, so append method was just adding things, right? And the only difference between append method and write method is simply that it will just write some things. Okay, rather than adding things, it will just write things. Okay, so this is sample writing a file. So if I run this, you can see everything got overwritten by whatever I am writing the file. Okay, so whatever I am writing, whatever the context I am writing the file with, this context will be replacing all the existing context, right? So if you are using write mode, we are still using write function, okay, write method, but whatever the mode we have used, depending on that, it will either write the file or append the file. Okay, that is the only difference between append and write. Got it? So this is it about append and write. Now let me show you one more thing. So I am just giving the file path as sample1.txt, okay, which is not present in my folder. Okay, even though I don't have this particular file, if I try to run this, it will create the file and it will write into the file. Okay, you saw, right, this file got just created. Okay, when you open that, you can see the same text is present in that as well. Fine, so this works for both append as well as write methods. Okay, if the file is not there, it will just create and then write into that file. Okay, it will not work for the read mode. Okay, so let me comment this. Let me show you that with the read mode. Okay, this was my read mode. Okay, let me give sample2.txt. I am just opening the file and I am just reading everything. If you run this, you can see that there is no file or directory present. Fine, right? So this is how it throws error when you don't have the file whatever that you have given in the read mode. Okay, if you have done that with the append or write mode, it will just create that files, right? So this is one thing that you will have to remember. So if the file is not there, read mode will throw you error. If the file is not there, append mode and write mode will create those files. Fine. So this is one drawback that we'll have to overcome, okay, while writing actual code. I'll show you how to overcome that as well. Okay, okay, let's say we have this append mode. Okay, we'll just keep it as read mode. Okay, sample 2.txt, which is not there, right? Sample2.txt is not there. Let me just delete this sample1.txt as well. We don't need that. Okay, we don't have sample2.txt, but we are trying to open that particular file. Okay, and we are trying to read things. We want to read things in that file. You don't have to give this as well. We want to read things. Okay, so you are just closing that file. If you run this, it will throw you error, right? Fine. So instead of doing this, what you can do, you can use try except blocks. Okay, I think we have already discussed about try except blocks. Guys, have we discussed about try except blocks? I think so, right? So these kind of blocks, except, exception, as, e. Okay, we used to do like these things, right? Print str of e. Okay, so it's basically, rather than doing all this stuff, we'll just do that from here as well. So we are basically opening, reading and closing. If anything is throwing as an error, we will just print that exception. Okay, rather than throwing error, what we are doing, we are just showing the error message, right? So this is how we used to do try except blocks. Okay, but rather than doing these things, okay, rather than just printing these things, sometimes what happens is we might have to create the file if the file does not exist. Okay, so this is how we handle the errors. Okay, we are getting any error and we are handling that error and we are just showing the error message to the customer, okay, or any end user, right? But sometimes what happens, we'll have to create a file if the file does not exist. Okay, then we'll have to write into that or read into that, anything, right? So let's say our condition is like this. If the file already exists, okay, you just read the content. If the file does not exist, okay, you will create the file and then you will read the content. I mean, write something and then read some operations. Okay, any conditions like this. Okay, in those kinds of scenarios, we might have to like add some conditional checks. Okay, so those conditional checks will be coming from OS. Okay, so there is one module called OS. So import OS. Okay, so OS is a module. You can go into the file os.py. OS is nothing but operating system. The whole your system is considered as OS. Okay, so in the OS we have lot of methods, okay, which we'll be using to find the file existing or not. Okay, so it is also useful to make directories, remove directories, okay, renaming things, everything. It has a lot of functionalities which we won't be discussing everything because this itself will take a lot of time. Okay, we'll be discussing the key points, okay, how to check the files existing or not, or how to delete the files. Fine. So what we will check, we will check if the file exists or not. Okay, so os dot exists, or I think os dot path dot exists. Okay, and you will have to give the file path. Okay, it will not print anything, it will just print true or false. Okay, so if the file path exists, it will print true. If it's false, I mean if the file path is not existing, then it will print false. Okay, you can see it is printing me false. Okay, but the same thing if I do with sample.txt, which is present, it is printing me true. So you can use this particular functionality on checking the things. Okay, on checking if the file exists or not, right? So this would be very helpful while you are having this kind of requirements, right? If the file exists, do something. If the file does not exist, do some other thing. Okay, in these kinds of scenarios where you have like conditional arguments, conditional checks, you can use os dot path dot exists. Basically you are checking if the path exists or not, right? So this is one thing where you are checking the file path. Okay, and we have one more thing called os dot remove. Okay, file path, which basically removes the whole file. Okay, so let's say I don't want to print this. Let's say I have sample2.txt and I want to remove that particular file. Okay, if I run this, it will obviously throw me error because that file itself is not there, right? So file path is itself not there, so it will obviously throw me the error. So in these kinds of scenarios, what we will do, we will just add the conditions, right? os dot path dot exists file path. So if the file path exists, we will remove, else we don't do anything. Okay, if the file is existing, then only we remove. If the file is not existing, then we don't have to do anything, right? So this basically does true or false, and if it is true, then we are removing the file. If it is false, we are not removing the file, we are not doing anything basically, right? So if I run this, nothing happens because this particular file is not there, and even I am not getting any error, right? But if I do that for the same file path which is existing, which is like this sample.txt, right? If I run this particular program, you can see this particular file has been deleted. Okay, so you don't see that file in here, it has been transferred into the recycle bin. Okay, it is still there here because VS Code keeps a cache of the files. Okay, but you can see in the folder it's not there. You can also go and check in the folder, the file has been removed, right? So if I just close this, you can't find that particular file anywhere. Okay, so this is how you check and you delete the files. Okay, so understood everything, like how to open the files, how to read the files, how to write them, and how to close the files. You can also check if the file exists or not, and you can remove the files. Okay, got? Yeah, so let's, yeah, so this is how to write into the files, and this is how to check the files, and how to delete the files as well. Okay, so to remove the whole folder, you can use this rmdir functionality which we use in the shell. Okay, in command line interface. I don't want to use that because it will just delete the whole folder. Okay, so but basically you can simply use this OS operations. You have lot of methods in OS. Okay, you can just go on, click os dot, you can see remove directories. You have a lot of things basically. Okay, all these things, if you want, you can just go and search for these things in Google if you want to like learn about all these things more and more. But all these things we won't be using that much because these are all the things for the ops guys. Okay, DevOps people, they'll be dealing with all these things. Okay, whatever we have learnt till now, those things are very useful for you whenever you are working on web applications or as well as data science projects, right? So you'll have to be aware of all these things. Okay, now so in the from the starting of Python course, we have learned things, and we have also learned the shortcuts for the same things. Okay, we have learned for loop, and we have also learned how to make a simple shortcut for the for loop as well, right? So similarly, we have a shortcut for this particular thing as well. Okay, rather than opening the file and then closing, we have a simple shortcut which automatically close once you come out of the block. Okay, so basically we have this file path, okay, sample.txt, which is not there right now, but with open, so we are still using the same function, same method. Okay, with we are just using an extra keyword called with. We are opening the file, you just give file path. Let me open that in the write mode because we don't have the file, and you will just have to store that in a variable. Okay, with open file path write mode as f. Okay, how we used to do like this, right? F equal to open file path. Similarly, we will be doing like this. Okay, so this will be a block code. Okay, with block. Okay, so inside that you can do whatever you want. I am just writing some things. Okay, this is to learn about with blocks. Okay, so once I come out of that particular block, the file will automatically be closed. Okay, it's already closed. You can't access that particular file here. Okay, you cannot access that file here. Okay, so you can see it will throw you error because it is saying that IO operation on closed file, because the file is already closed. Okay, but basically you cannot do that things. This particular code has been ran properly, and you can see the file has been created and it is being ran, right? So it is writing some context in the text file. So basically, rather than doing it in the 3 lines, opening the file, reading or writing and then closing, we have basically created a shortcut using with block with open file name or file path. Okay, and whatever the mode that you have to open as a file. Okay, so it's basically nothing but f equal to open file path in write mode, and you are just doing f dot write, and you are just writing these things. Fine. So this is how you use this shortcut. It will directly close the file once you come out of the block. You don't have to close it manually. So that is the only advantage with this particular with block. Okay, so some people still prefer using the old ways. Okay, because this would be some kind of like clean code where you don't get confused with, and with this bit of shortcuts, bit of hack, people still use these 2 things. Okay, some old programmers try to prefer these. Okay, and some new programmers prefer these. Okay, so it depends on your usage. Okay, you can use either with functionality, or you can simply use the traditional way of opening and closing the files. It doesn't matter, it depends on your requirements itself. Okay, so these are all the things that we have already learned. So this is just opening the files in write mode or read mode. Okay, so we have already learned about read lines. Read lines basically creates into a list. You can just read the whole list, or you can whatever operations that you want to do, you can do. Fine. Now we are left with CSV files. Okay, so nothing major except some simple syntaxes. Okay, let's discuss about those syntaxes. Okay, so since this point till this point we have been reading all the text files, right? Not any CSV files. All these things are text files. Okay, but there would be some CSV files. CSV file is nothing but comma separated values. Okay, it's an Excel file itself, but it's a single sheet. Okay, you cannot have multiple sheets of CSV files. Fine, let me show you how CSV file looks like in the downloads. Okay, so this is a CSV file which is exactly similar to Excel file, right? But it will only have single sheet. Okay, if you have multiple sheets, you might have to like change this to Excel file. Okay, so these are all comma separated values but stored as a tabular form, right? So first row is my columns and everything is my values. Okay, so let me just use this particular file itself, okay, to do the operations. Or let me check if I have a simple file. This is huge. Yeah, so this file is with less memory usage. Let me open this. Okay, so this only have 20 records. Okay, I'll be using this. I just copied this file path. Okay, so till now we were just using simple opening the file, and we are just using f.write, right? But for CSV files you have to import another module called CSV, which is already present in Python. You don't have to download or anything. Okay, you can just open that csv.py. You can see we have lot of classes in this as well, like this dict reader. Okay, we also have simple reader, dict writer. Okay, we have anyways, we still have a lot of functionalities in this. You can just go through the whole file. Okay, we have readers, we have writers. Okay, we have dict writers, we have dict readers. Okay, we conversion to Excels as well. Okay, we have a lot of these things. Okay, you can all check if you have time, and we can use this particular open block with that particular file path. Okay, so I have given the file path. So this is my file path. Okay, this is my file path. I'll be reading these things, okay, as file. Okay, so first row will always be a column. You can see first row will always be first row will always be a column. Okay, these are column headers. Okay, these are column names, right? And from second row it will always be values. Okay, this is what how CSV looks like, right? So basically what you can do, you can just let me take it as F. Okay, now you have that file opened in the read mode. Now you will have to make sure that you read dot as a CSV file. Okay, if I do simple f dot read, it will read it as a text, right? So we saw that how text wrapper was there. Okay, text IO wrapper class. Okay, if I am doing this f dot read, it will simply read me everything as a text value. Okay, you can see that it is just printing me everything as a simple text. Okay, it is not taking it as different lines or as simple CSV, right? So it is just giving me all the values as a simple text. Okay, which is not required for us. Okay, we want these things to be read as a CSV itself. Okay, so for those kind of things we will be using this CSV module which we have imported. Okay, so we use this csv.reader to read into any variable, and our delimiter can be anything. Okay, so for most of the CSVs it will be by default comma, but some people use different delimiters as well, but always it would be comma, so it's fine to use comma. Okay, and if the line count is 0, which means like first line, you will be having all the headers, right, column names, and if it is not, then you will be having different rows, right? So basically you can read them. Okay, so it's like reader equal to csv dot reader, and you will just have to give the file with delimiter. This is delimiter only. You will be giving the comma for this, and for reader you can just print all these things. Okay, for R in reader, print R. Okay, so if I do this, it will be printing each line. Okay, you can see that here. Okay, so it will be printing each line as a list of all the values, right? So you can see that each line is taken as a list of all the values. Okay, so all the row values are converted into a simple list and they have been printed like this. So basically, if you want only to print IDs, you can print like this. Okay, R of 0, which will give you all the IDs, right? So if you can run this, you can see all the IDs have been printed. So based on your requirements, you will be doing the operations. Okay, so nothing major difference reading the text files and CSV files. Here we were directly reading using f.read, but for CSV we are using csv.reader. Okay, and the same for loops and same read lines, whatever we have, right, we'll be using the same thing. Okay, similarly we have write method as well. Okay, so you will have this write mode. Okay, so in this write mode and append mode are mostly similar, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just that write mode will overwrite things and append mode will add the things. So similar to however we have learned in the simple file readings, right? So you can use append mode, and rather than reading here, what we will do, we will just write. Okay, we will write things, we'll open that as a reader. It will be like writer maybe, right? So writer equal to csv.writer. You don't have to give any delimiter for writing, so I'm just creating a writer function from csv.writer and passing the file name. Okay, so from here you can just use this particular writer to write things. Okay, writer dot write, and you can write the whole row, okay, with comma separated values, then only it will work. Okay, so there are like lot of columns, it's hard for us to write, but basically if you have like couple of columns, only one or two, then you can just write those values as a comma separated values. Let's say I have my ID, okay, comma, I have my payment to, which would be like anything, okay, like this. If you do this, it will write another row into this particular value. Okay, let me try this. I think it should work, but not sure. Yeah, okay, write functionality is a bit different in this. Yeah, it's write row rather than row. Okay, let me try this. Does it root something? I don't think so. Let me give it as a list and try if that works. Yeah, so it only works basically when you give all the column values, then only it will work. But basically, yeah, so for using this kind of syntax, you can write number of rows you want. Fine, so this is how CSV files reading and writing works. Any doubts in these two things? Guys?
No.
Okay, cool. Fine then, so this is how file handling looks like. Okay, how to read txt files or any text files. Okay, it might be Python files as well. You can write some things, you can read some things. Okay, and also CSV files. Okay, CSV files are basically not directly be used along with Python. Okay, people will never use simple Python to read and write into CSV files. because we have a library which is much more efficient than simple Python, that is called as pandas. Okay, so we have a library called pandas. Okay, so this pandas is much more efficient than simple Python to do operations on any CSV files. It may be CSV or Excel files, right? So people always try to use pandas. Okay, you can learn pandas in W3 Schools or Tutorials Point or any other website. Okay, pandas is not a big library. If you are interested in data science, so you can still go and learn about pandas. Okay, so pandas is a framework, kind of mini framework. Okay, so you can learn all about its functionalities in W3 Schools is fine. W3 Schools you can just go through all these things. Okay, it would be better if you can learn this. Okay, you can easily do most of the data operations. Okay, so like this. Okay, pd.read CSV, you are directly reading the CSV file. Okay, you can do all the operations in data frame. Okay, why pandas is much more efficient? Because it will not read each and every line from the CSV file like this. Okay, it will convert the whole CSV into a tabular form itself, and it stores in a tabular form. Okay, so it can simply go as a it stores it as a matrix form. Okay, tabular matrix, so that it can directly fetch the values and it can work much more efficiently rather than reading each row and each value in that row. Okay, so pandas is very helpful in data science, so please go there and try to complete this particular tutorial, which will be very helpful for you. Okay, we will not be discussing about pandas or numpy because that will just extend the course to 3 months, right? So those are like extra things that it would be useful for you to learn, that's it. Okay, but in Python also you can do the same things, but less efficient way, right? So this is also fine if you want to do in simple Python. Okay, so yeah, this is all about file handling, basically how to read files, write files, and whatever the operations that you want to do, right? From this we are done with the Python. Okay, I don't think you have anything left to learn in Python. We have covered most of the important concepts. Okay, we even covered error handling as well. So reading and writing files was the most important thing in web applications, so we have done that as well. So we have pip. Pip is package manager for Python. I think we have already discussed about this in the installation itself. So all the folders, all the packages, modules are installed using pip for Python, and it does not do anything. Okay, it will just create the file in proper location. Okay, so I think we installed pandas, right? Okay, we haven't installed pandas. Let's say we just imported CSV, right? So let's say we have installed CSV using pip. It will not do anything. It will just create that particular module in this location, so that Python directly can read this particular file. Okay, pip only does those things. Okay, it will just create a folder or a file or a simple module, so that it can directly be used. Okay, so pip directly install files and folders in this location, so that you can Python reads them and you can use directly as a import. Okay, simple import like that. Fine, so that is why I just wrote this here. Pip provides a lot of sub packages. You can directly use them in the system in your projects. Fine, then so this is it for Python course. Okay, we have nothing left to discuss. Whatever the concepts that we have learned till now, functions, classes, okay, even modules, how to create packages, okay, and basic for loops, if statements, everything we'll be discussing, we'll be using all these things in your project. Okay, in Django as well as DRF projects. We'll be doing 2 sample projects. Okay, not just one. We'll be doing 2 sample projects in Django. We'll convert the same project into Django REST framework, then I'll give you another project which you will have to do in Django, then convert it into Django REST framework. Okay, so basically we'll be doing two projects. One project I'll be doing along with you, I'll be doing in the class, and I'll give you another project which you will have to just replicate all the steps that I have done for both the projects. Okay, for using Django as well as Django REST framework. Fine. Before that, we'll be discussing a little bit about SQL, how to create the database, how to create any database module, tables, how to create tables, and how basic database works, right, in the backend. Because Django, you can't see anything what's happening in the database, so we'll be using simple SQL statements as well. We'll discuss little bit about databases so that you will also know what's happening actually in the backend, right? Yeah, so that's it then for today's class. From tomorrow we'll do little practice on these modules and packages, maybe then we'll start with the SQL operations. Is that fine?
Okay.
Sandhya, okay, she left. Anyways, cool, then we'll meet tomorrow. I'll try to prepare some exercises for these modules and packages. I'll upload that in the course content, in the course itself. We'll discuss these things tomorrow as well. Anyways, cool, then you can drop off as well.
Okay.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.